So I want to do a review of a product I found recently that's supposed to help cover tattoos. I don't regret my tattoo. I have a Batman on my wrist. It's kind of hard to tell because it looks normal when I'm doing this, but then when I turn it, it looks weird. So there's a very dark black Batman, and there's some situations where I don't want it showing, like for graduation or just random work things that you don't want it showing. So I'm going to do a review of the Hard Candy Glamoflauge, which looks like this. You can get it for about $6 at Walmart. It comes with a little flesh-colored pencil, but I found better ways of making it work, so I'm going to do a tutorial on how to use it my way, which I think works a little better. So first what you want to do is wash your tattoo, make sure it's clean. So I use baby wipes for taking off makeup, so I'm just going to do that right here. We're only going to section off a little piece of my tattoo, the one that you could see. So got it clean, nice and cleaned up, and then you're going to take some lotion. I use Lubriderm on my tattoo. So take some lotion, make sure it's nice and moisturized. Got a little dab on there. Moisturize it all up. So now your tattoo is prepped and ready to be covered for a day, because we're not removing it. And next what they tell you to do is use the flesh-colored pencil, but instead I'm going to use the Blast Flip Stick from CoverGirl. It looks like this, CoverGirl. And I have the golden orange tone on one side and the red tone on the other. You can cover up a sunburn better than you can cover up a dark bruise. Since my tattoo is black, we're going to try to make it look something like a sunburn. So we'll section off a little piece and just dab the red lipstick on there, rub it in. Now your tattoo looks a little sunburned, which is good because it's going to be easier to cover. You could probably do this after you use the flesh color marker too, but this is what works best for me. So you have that done. Sorry, I just put the cap on wrong. And then next what you're going to do is take your Glamoflauge and you're going to put it on your finger or on your hand. I'm going to use my hand. Just put a little bit of it on your hand. I'm going to need a little bit more. And what I like to do is work it with the finger first. Get it nice and warmed up. And then the first step is to take a brush. You can tell it's on my hand. Doesn't match my skin tone that well. Scoop it up with a brush. And then take your tattoo and just use a patting motion. And also get on the outsides. This doesn't match my skin tone perfectly, and you're going to see that specifically at the end. So we're patting it, getting the outsides. If you do a close-up, you can still see that I have a tattoo. So the next step, if you have a darker tattoo, because that might just work perfectly fine if you have a lighter one. The next step is to take the Glamoflauge and put it directly on the tattoo. So I got a little bit more on there. Then take your finger and pat it on. Paying close attention to the edges, making sure that it's blending nicely into the skin around you. So, there's that. You can't really tell on the camera, but it's really shiny. So what I'm going to do next is take a kabuki brush, and I have the CoverGirl Fresh Complexion Powder Kit, which I got the lightest shade, but I'm a shade lighter. So you take this, it comes with a sponge, but I'm going to use a brush, and you get a bunch of powder. You can use translucent powder too, anything to take that shine away. So now that my kabuki brush is covered in powder, what you're going to do is you're going to pat lightly and then swoop it on there. Now it's no longer shiny. So that is what I do to put it on. Now for Glamoflauge, I do have some pros and cons to it. The pro is that it does cover a black tattoo. You can tell that half a wing is missing. If I did this on my entire tattoo, it would all be missing, which is really great. The cons are, it does go on cakey, it does go on shiny. Again, you can fix that with a translucent powder or a foundation powder, something, some sort of loose powder. You can fix the shine. And then the last thing that I hate about it is that it rubs off on clothes, and it'll rub off eventually on anything ever. So what I found to fix that, because you're not just wanting to hide your tattoo for a few minutes, you want to hide it for an entire day or hours at a time, is I got the Urban Decay All-Nighter Setting Spray. And then what you do, I got this on Amazon because I don't like shopping that much. You just spray it on, 2 or 3 it says 2 to 4 sprays. You spray it on, and you let it sit there. And this is supposed to keep it from rubbing off. It's the setting spray can be used on your face too, so that if you're going out all night and partying, your face will still look the same as when you left. So my tattoo is covered, which is really nice for when my dad comes to visit tomorrow, because he doesn't know I have this. Because I'm that mature. But yeah, that's what I do for covering my tattoo. The staying spray doesn't really help it stay all that much. I also use, and this is really weird, I use Sally Hansen, it's leg makeup, like an airbrush leg makeup, and my arms are really pale. So on one side, they're really pale here, and then kind of tan over here. So to get an even cover, like an even color, sometimes I'll just rub it on both sides. And that will also help to protect, because that stays on unless it's wet and soapy. So that will also add another layer onto here. I found no matter what, it's going to rub off. There's nothing you can do unless you go to an airbrush artist. Your cover up is just going to rub off and be depressing. But it gives you an option, and the staying spray, the setting spray does help it from rubbing off on your clothes. So it's good stuff. If you have a better way of covering up your tattoo, I would love to hear it, because mine is ridiculously dark, and my workplace, once I graduate, is very conservative and won't like me having a tattoo that's showing, and I'd rather not wear bulky bracelets for the rest of my life, but I don't want to get it removed. So if you have any other tips, that'd be great, but this is just the way that I've learned to use Glamoflauge in a way that's going to work for me. And I hope that helped.